morning. Let me stop recording. Out. Facebook, hopefully.
I think they're giving us a little time to network. I'm not sure.
They should be starting the thing fairly soon because they normally schedule the networking breakouts from 7:30 to 8.
We can hear everything you guys are saying. We're
Awesome.
in a big group now.
Cool.
All right.
Well, if y'all have any questions or concerns, my information is in the chat. If y'all don't.
Okay, so Kimberly. All right, Kimberly, you are the host now.
Okay.
And it's 8 o'clock and we will get started.
Good morning, welcome everyone, and thank you for all those who we sent out early this morning that we will be 100% virtual. There's tornado warnings, tornadoes in the area, so we wanted everyone to be safe. We do have a few people in here though, and so we have made Kimberly, who's in Houston, the host in case anything happens here, if we need to leave the room, etc. So Kimberly, that part's going to be on you today. So welcome everyone. We're so glad to see you here today. For those of you, my name is Tracy Irby and I'm the director of the Center for Women Entrepreneurs. We have with us in person, Donalisa Stinyard. She is our associate director. We have Kimberly Nielsen, our statewide program manager. She is in Houston today. And we have Barbara Runke, our program coordinator, and she will be on Facebook and watching in here as well. So for those that aren't familiar with us, the Center for Women Entrepreneurs was funded in 2015 by the state legislature just to help promote women entrepreneurs anywhere in the state of Texas. And we do that through small business advising, networking and training events, grants, and we are part of the larger J. Nelson Institute for Women's Leadership. The Institute is dedicated to preparing more women to take on successful roles in business and public service. Our 3 specialized centers provide women with the education to establish executive level careers, skills for building entrepreneurial businesses, and the framework needed for public office. So we like to introduce everyone. We have a few people in person. And so we have them seated at the very back of the room. If we'll have them introduce themselves, but all of you online, feel free to put your information in the chat so we know who you are. All right, ladies.
Hi, I'm Marge Atkinson of Ask Marge. I do research for authors, grad students, and businesses. If you can't find what you're looking for, ask Marge.
Yeah. Kathy Schund, a professional coach, and I help people who are stuck, subconscious triggers, undermining conscious choices with Kathy Schund coaching.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah McGinty. I am the owner of Handswoman Photo. We are a full team production company for nonprofit humanitarian work film videos.
Hi everyone, I'm Ann Morgeson. I am a certified health coach and I help people reclaim their health and achieve their healthy goal weight and keep it off for life.
Good morning, everyone. Cindy Turk. I own CM Promotions. We are a wedding and event planning company throughout DFW. It is engagement season, so if you know of anybody in love getting married, send them our way. Cindy with CM Promotions.
Great, thank you all for being here, and so we're monitoring everything too to keep everybody safe today. All right, well, we are excited to introduce our speaker for today. Nancy Aichholz is a longtime successful businesswoman with significant corporate marketing and branding nonprofit development, and management experiences and entrepreneurial successes. Having led the consumer marketing efforts for Chiquita Brands International early in her career, to starting her own business while home raising children, developing and growing accelerators, which exist to empower female entrepreneurs, and now buying another small business and working on scaling it for future sale. Nancy has seen business from just about every angle. Her mission is to support other women founders as they grow their businesses and to help them access the capital they need to be successful. She is a Christian wife, mother of 3 plus 2 daughters-in-law, community volunteer, and friend to many. She strives to live as Proverbs 31 woman, being intentional about all aspects of her life. Her greatest joy, aside from her family, is to see other women thriving. Nancy, we're so happy to have you here today.
Thank you so much, everyone. I've been looking forward to this for a while. I'm sorry about your weather down there. So I hope everyone stays safe. And I was just sharing a few minutes ago that we have some children down there and we'll be having a wedding in your area. I'm sorry to the person who has the wedding planning. We've already done the planning, but she's got 11 bridesmaids. So I'll be sure she knows all those 11 bridesmaids know about you. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen. But today's topic is the SWOT analysis for your small business or startup, or I use the SWOT analysis actually in lots of other ways outside of just the traditional business opportunities. So let me just get my screen up here. Okay, let's see. Here, okay, and I'm going to go into okay, I'm going to go into present mode. Okay, can y'all see that?
No.
No? Okay.
The video, and then I was like,
I see your Slack channel right now.
Oh, strange. Okay, hold on. Let me close a few things. That might help, right?
oh,
Hold on. I should have probably practiced this. Okay, hold on. I'm going to start over. That out.
Hey, Kimberly, while she's fixing that, can you make sure you make me a co-host?
You bet.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Success. Yes.
Great. Okay, so now that we're all on the same page, literally, we're going to talk about the SWOT analysis to grow your business. And what I love about the SWOT analysis is that it is a way for us to look at any aspect of our business, whether we are considering purchasing a business or getting a new initiative started or spending a significant amount of capital to grow the business. It gives us a high level perspective on how we might do that. And it mitigates some of the risk that we need to take. And we all know that we can't grow our business without risk. So just a little bit of background about what I am doing now. I have been running Aviatra accelerators in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area for close to 8 years now. It is a nonprofit that supports female founders from idea to exit and everything in between. And we see women in every line of business. So we don't do just tech, but we do have tech businesses. You name the industry, we have seen it, and we have been successful in that industry. We've served over 3,000 women over the last 12 years. Cumulative earned revenues for those women are well over $1 billion. That's billion with a B, $1 billion. And we've created at least 15,000 jobs, probably way more than that. Sometimes our metrics are a little hard to track on that. we've given out $1 million in low interest loans, and we have helped women access hundreds of millions of dollars of capital over time. We do know that the needle, as far as women accessing capital, has not moved as it should in our country. So I'm thrilled that you have your Center for Entrepreneurs for Women. And also excited that you have the positioning of helping women be ready to serve in public office. I'm an elected official, and I'm on the board of an organization called She Leads here in Cincinnati, Ohio, that helps cultivate future leaders and get them ready for running for office. So we may have to chat about that in the future too. As I said, I've been with Aviatra for almost 8 years. I just on December 1st had my last day there. 8 years is a long time to run a nonprofit, even though I loved every minute of it. And in the meantime, about 2 years ago, a woman came through our program and she owned a cookie shop. And I had started a carrot cake company back in around 2010 when I was home raising my children, kind of a little bit on a whim. But the first time that I introduced my cakes, I ended up with an opportunity to be in the Nordstrom e-bars, because we had just had a Nordstrom open in Cincinnati. And I, being a little bit of an opportunist, did not want to miss that opportunity. So I took off with the business. So I struggled to figure out how to scale that business. So I put it a little bit on hold. That's when I went to Aviatra. I went to Aviatra really to do a turnaround, rebrand, get it really solid. And I just got addicted to the mission of supporting other women. It's so exciting to me to watch a woman come through our door with a great idea, not a lot of confidence and not a whole lot of knowledge, and watch her within, a year or so, have an even better business, have tons of confidence, and really take off with that business. It's one of the most rewarding things that I've done in my career. So about 2 years ago, a woman came through, as I said, who owned a cookie company, and I had all kinds of ideas for her about how she could scale that business. And it was called Donna's Gourmet Cookies, and it was a well-known brand here in Cincinnati. But I don't think that she was necessarily the founder for that kind of growth. She really was more into the culinary side. And so a year later, she called me and more or less asked if I would buy the business. So I did. And I have rebranded it to That's So Sweet. And we will be shipping nationwide. We just started shipping for this holiday season. I plan to build it, scale it, and sell it within 5 years. And then I'll have my place in Texas where my kids are, and I'll have my place at the beach in South Carolina where they will want to come visit me. So those are my goals, and that's kind of who I am. But let's talk about the importance of the SWOT analysis. And for anyone who is not fully familiar with what SWOT, the acronym, is, it is a process whereby you can look at your business at a very high level, or you can look at a decision that you need to make for your business at a very high level. The S is for strengths, the W is for weaknesses, the O is for opportunities, and the T is for threats. And there's definitely a difference between weakness and threats, and there's definitely a difference between strengths and opportunities, which we will talk about. You will also be getting a handout that you can use over and over. I would say keep a blank copy and use this tool anytime you have a critical decision to make. So like I said, it's an opportunity to look at your business at a very high level and make decisions from that high level. It's so hard as a female founder, or any founder really, to get out of our own way. I encourage women all the time, don't work in your business all the time. You have got to make time to work on your business. And sometimes that means biting the bullet and hiring somebody else to do things that you're doing, that they can do and you don't have to do, so that you can have that bird's eye view of your business. It gives you the confidence to move forward on any kind of decision that you're trying to make, even something like a staffing issue. If you need to let somebody go because they are a bad culture fit, the SWOT analysis is a great thing to zip yourself through before you make a move, making a change. Or if you're looking to hire somebody and you know that it will cost you, It's another way to be sure that you are investing in something that will grow your business. It helps you to be really aware of the risks associated with making a decision. And that's, to me, that's one of my favorite things. It's I am not afraid of risk. I am afraid of not knowing what the risks are. So I really encourage you to be very clear on what your risks are when you are making decisions for your business. So as I said, these are the elements of the SWOT. So let's talk about strengths. If you're thinking about your own business, let's talk about what are things that your business does well. That would be a strength. Qualities that separate you from your competitors. What's different about you versus your competitors? What's different about you compared to other organizations or businesses that would be competitors, even though they might not seem like direct competitors? Like, for instance, I'm not just competing right now, especially with building out my e-commerce. I'm not just competing with other cookie companies. In fact, I'm not really competing that much at all with cookie companies. I'm competing with other food items that are being shipped as gifts. I'm competing with florists, traditional florists that, you know, when somebody has a bad day or they've had a death in the family or they've had a baby, you might send flowers. Well, I want you to start thinking about sending cookies and sweet treats as gifts to sweeten someone's day. So think big when you're thinking through your strengths. Think about all the qualities about you that are different from your competitors. So in our market right now, we have a few of the national cookie companies that are coming in, Crumble and Insomnia. And those are great companies, and they certainly have way more money behind them than I do. But we have some competitive advantages, not just locally, but on a national basis as well, that I don't need to worry too much about them as competitors because I provide a different type of cookie. I provide a different type of experience. And my experience is about high quality products, but in the context of a beautiful gift, which is a little bit different from what they are doing. They are looking to scale very quickly, have franchises, et cetera. So knowing your strengths as compared to your competitors is, you know, very important. Know your internal resources. When I bought the business, I did a really deep dive, a solid valuation of the company, really understood, I mean, even down to the staff, their names, how long they had been there, what they bring to the table, what, you know, where I might have to backfill with more staff, who I needed to be sure to keep on the staff, really had to understand those internal resources. I even needed to really understand the bakery equipment that the former owner had and what condition was it in. Would that be something that I would have to replace, you know, in short order? So also the tangible assets, intellectual property, capital, proprietary technologies that we have that someone else may not have. I had to be really clear on all that. So let's talk a little bit about weaknesses. Nobody really likes to talk about weaknesses, but we all have them. And if we don't know our weaknesses, it's kind of like, you know, if you were an army and you didn't know where the holes in your line were, or I'm probably a better football analogy person because my two boys played college football. One actually down at Texas A&M got on the team, and we never really got to see him play, but I thought it was pretty impressive that he got on the team. Anyway, weaknesses in your line, you know, could nail your quarterback, and he was a quarterback. So I always wanted to know the weaknesses in the line. So what does your company lack? You know, when I was looking to build this business, I knew that we had a bad physical location. It's hard to get in and out of. It doesn't have foot traffic. If you don't know it's there, you're not going to come there. What do my competitors do better than I do? Well, there are a few that are much bigger than I am, even though they're local. They have better locations. You know, their brand was better known. What are my resource limitations? And in this particular job market, I had to be very clear that I was going to be able to staff this business appropriately. Because as we all know, it's challenging right now, especially in those kind of hourly jobs. And one thing that was a big aha when I looked into the weaknesses of the organization is that even though we're a bakery business and we obviously employ people who have been to pastry school and culinary school, somehow or another in this culture, in this environment, these particularly young workers don't want to come in at 6 o'clock in the morning, even though it is a bakery. So I had to think through, how will I mitigate that risk and how will I shore up that weakness? And I think we've done a pretty good job of that, but I wouldn't have known to do that and focus on that if I hadn't really thought through the weaknesses. Another thing is having an unclear, unique value proposition. Even though I am a cookie company, I'm going to be shipping gifts, that's a known entity, I still needed to be very clear that what is different and unique and valuable about my brand and my products are that they will come beautifully packaged and they will be very high quality and they will last long enough so that when you get them, you are consuming them at their best. But yet I didn't want cookies that could sit around for, a month in a package, because you can buy that at the grocery store. So that I had to be very clear about. So then going on to opportunities, and this is where I think sometimes it can get confusing. The difference between a strength and an opportunity. The way I look at strengths versus opportunities is the strength is something that you already have, you're already employing, it's already positively impacting your business. An opportunity is something that you will need to work to create, but you have all the necessary ingredients, so to speak, in order to maximize that opportunity. So for instance, it could be that your products are great for underserved markets. That's a great place to play right now. It might be that you have few competitors, which means that you can own the market and define the market, which I find exciting. Maybe there's an emerging need for your products. You think about all the things that happened during COVID that were unforeseen. We had no idea that shipping gifts and products and items and grocery delivery and all the things that we all did would be such a win for some of the companies doing that. And another opportunity would be if you have media connections, or if you have something about your business that is attractive to the media, then that's a huge opportunity to grow your business through earned media, which is free for the most part, other than maybe some cost for press placement, media placement, and media management. But it's worth its weight in gold. And just as an example, when I bought the business, when I rebranded the business and when I was leaving Aviatra, there were a couple of media outlets that I already had the opportunity with because I had great relationships with them as the CEO of Aviatra. I knew that they would do stories about what I was doing. Well, as much as I've done PR and I'm really engaged in the marketing world, I wasn't prepared necessarily for what a great opportunity that actually was. I went into the interviews with incredible credibility already. And then the stories that these journalists wrote for me based on my press release were phenomenal, because they already knew me and trusted me. And they knew some things or saw some things in me that I didn't even see myself, because they've been watching me from the outside all this time. That was a huge opportunity. And within 2 days, I had $30,000 of sales just from that earned media that I wouldn't have had. So it was just a ginormous opportunity. So you can look at opportunities as things that can happen for your business if you just line yourself up appropriately and make the most of those opportunities. And like I said, I'm an opportunist, so I'm never up for I'm never up for missing an opportunity, for sure. Threats, I call these death threats. What threats, what bad things can happen that could kill your business, or that could kill an idea, or that could cost you more than you can afford to risk? And even though I think a lot of people, because women in particular, we tend to be risk averse, I think the biggest risk we can take as female founders is not knowing what the risks are. And sometimes we don't know what they are because we are afraid to go down that path. We're afraid to think bad thoughts. We're afraid of the negative. But honestly, knowing the threats and owning them helps you get ahead and mitigate those risks in a huge way. So things like emerging competitors, who's out there that may be trying to do the same thing you're doing, and maybe they look small on the outside, but for all we know, they may have some venture capital behind them, or they may have a big investor, or they may have a connection that we don't have. So we need to know who those emerging competitors are and what they're up to. What's a changing regulatory environment? You know, the food industry changes on a regular basis. Some of the industries you may be in, whether it's real estate, which seems to change really frequently. If you're in the finance world, that changes daily, it seems. The political climate can really seriously affect your business depending on what your business is. Negative press, if there's any reason that you may be getting negative press for something, that can be a killer for a company. So you need to know, if I were to, let's say I had a situation where someone got sick from my cookies, I need to have a plan, because that could end my business. And first of all, plan to never make somebody sick with my cookies, first of all. But also, if we were to have an incident, how would that be handled? And I know that I am fully and highly insured. And I know that I could, in very short order, get a positive press release out to get ahead of the negative press that may have occurred from a disaster like that. Changing customer attitudes. One of the things when we rebranded our business, Donna's Gourmet Cookies had been in business since 2008. And then Nan Cakes, my carrot cake company, had been around since 2010. And I merged the two product lines and then rebranded as That's So Sweet. And the idea behind That's So Sweet is, if I send you a wonderful box of cookies and treats, and it's for your birthday or for just making your day, first thing you're going to say is, "Oh, Nancy, that's so sweet." So that was where that came from. What we didn't necessarily anticipate, and we picked up the threat immediately, is that our local customers who like to come to the store on a regular basis were very worried that we were going to change the cookie recipe, which I found fascinating, because the reason I bought the business was because the recipes were so good and I had no intention of changing them. But we had to very quickly convey that and be sure to communicate that really almost ridiculously in the amount of messages that we put out there, that we aren't changing anything. We're adding to the line, we're enhancing it, we are shipping things, we're making it more accessible, but we're not going to change those cookies because they are amazing the way they are. Like I said before, staffing issues, that's a huge threat right now. It's a huge threat in the bigger, more pragmatic picture of trying to make sure that you have the right staff and the right number of staff and the right people in the right positions. But it's also on a day-to-day. I can see easily, looking at my team, that I have 99% of my team as prime great culture fits, but that 1% of staff that may not be such a good culture fit, or that is coming from a different angle, that 1% brings down the other 99. And that is something that I think none of us like to deal with, particularly as women. We don't like conflict sometimes, and we don't want to have to let somebody go from a job, because that's, nobody likes that. But if they are a bad culture fit in your world, then they're not happy either. And it's bad culture fit for them. And it doesn't mean that they're a bad culture fit everywhere, just means that they're not a good culture fit for you. So I think that knowing those threats on the staffing side are really important. So ask the right questions. When you spend some time on this SWOT analysis, and you'll have your handout to work with, be sure to be asking the right questions of your business. And it depends on, obviously, if you are looking to buy a business, you're looking to make a big capital investment, maybe you're thinking about bringing in investors, maybe you're thinking about rebranding like we just did. So be sure to ask the right questions so that you have the right information as you are moving through this decision-making process. So knowing things like, what do our customers love about us? What's the thing that brings people to our store, or what is it that is going to make someone want to go to my website, order a gift for a friend, ship it across the country, and then do that over and over again? What is it that they love about us? And be sure to understand that and to be providing what your customers love. What do we do better? What do we do better than the other competitors out there? What do we do better than the other businesses that might be potential competitors? Knowing that and making sure that our staff knows that and owns it and feels confident in what we do better, those are important things to know. What are your most positive brand attributes? When you are listing the attributes of your brand, positive and negative, what are the most positive? And how does your customer respond to those? And how does your staff respond to those? What's your unique value proposition? I think we talked about that a few minutes ago, but what is unique about what you do? What is different than a competitor? What makes you or your customer or your business, I'm sorry, what makes you unique? What makes you be the one that somebody thinks of to solve the problem that you are solving for them? And, that could be as simple as you are more accessible. Maybe your hours are more flexible. Maybe you are in a location that's easier to get to. Maybe you provide some kind of technology or service behind what you do that no one else in your market right now is doing. So really own that UVP. And I like to spend a lot of time on that unique value proposition, and it can change over time, but to really know what it is about that's so sweet, that is different and unique and makes people want to continue to come back to our store or to our website to send gifts. What kind of resources do you have that others don't have? So like right now, I know that other gift giving and cookie businesses, I know that they have deeper pockets. I know that they have brands that are known nationally, and mine is new. But I have some resources, that they don't necessarily have, and I need to capitalize on those resources and make sure that that is front and center when I'm putting my business out in front of the world. And so I know that there are, someone is watching the chat, right? Let me know if you need to interrupt me to ask any questions, but I'm happy to answer all the questions at the end as well.
We'll get them at the end, Nancy.
Okay, sounds good. So the benefits and limitations of a SWOT analysis. So the benefits, I think, are fairly obvious. It's free and quick. That's my favorite thing. It doesn't cost you a thing. You can do it on your own. You can do it as a team. You can partner up with somebody in the business to do it together, do it separately, then come together and compare. Free and quick. And I think the quicker we execute on a SWOT analysis, the better. It's kind of like, don't take a deep dive into the overthink tank. make this a high level gut reaction response, because your customers are reacting quickly to what you have to offer and what your limitations might be. They're not going to spend a ton of time thinking through what's so great about you. So I think having that just quick deep dive, or kind of almost top line, but that gut reaction response to a SWOT is super valuable. You can always go back and dig deeper, especially on the threats and the opportunities. Understand a big benefit of a SWOT analysis is understanding your business better. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day, and we get caught up in, we have so much to do to keep things just keeping the lights on, that we don't spend enough time really appreciating what our business is all about. We don't spend enough time appreciating what we really truly offer to our consumer. What do we offer to our staff? What do we offer to our investors? What do we offer to the community? And I think a SWOT really helps you understand what's going on in the bigger picture of your business. Addressing weaknesses is a huge benefit. I know it's painful. None of us like to think about our weaknesses, but if we address them, then we can fix them, and we can be, it's kind of like if you have a hole in the fence, if you don't fix it, you see it, it's there, it's a weak link, but if you don't fix it, your kids can get out, or your dogs can get out, or whatever, terrible things can happen. But if we know what those weaknesses are, and we go ahead and make the fixes that we need to make, then that weakness kind of goes away, and it is not going to be something that turns into a death threat, because that's key. Weaknesses are weaknesses, and they're there. But what you don't want is a weakness moving over to the death threat category. Capitalize on opportunities. I think one of the biggest benefits of the SWOT is when you're looking at what some opportunities might be for your business, you can then capitalize. Like, for instance, this time around for this holiday season, we did very little marketing, and we are at capacity. So what I see there is, wow, I have a big opportunity for the next holiday season to do some significant marketing, but I darn well better be ready to produce. So that tells me that I have the opportunity right now to start building out a production facility that I'm going to need for next year, because I am at capacity based solely on my own personal connections and a little bit of earned media. So I see that as just a huge opportunity. I think another benefit of a SWOT analysis is taking advantage of your strengths. It's sometimes as women, we tend to be a little more humble than we should be. I think that's fine when from a personal standpoint, humility is a great thing. But from a business perspective, we need to get out of the humble thing. We need to really look at those and do it honestly, look at the strengths, know what they are, and then maximize those strengths. Because if you think about it, you're in business to serve other people. You are in business to provide a service or a product that changes the lives of another person. So why would you want to hold back on the strengths that can help you better serve your customer base? So some of the limitations of a SWOT analysis, because it's not the be all and end all, it's just a great way to do a quick overview and get a quick temperature check on your business and to help you make decisions. But some of the limitations, a SWOT doesn't prioritize the issues. You might find several death threats, you might find several weaknesses, but the SWOT itself doesn't help you necessarily prioritize which of those to attack first. So that's something you need to think more from a strategic planning standpoint. It doesn't provide solutions or alternatives. It just shows you that you've got the problem. It can generate too many ideas, which we all have trouble with. It's the whack-a-mole game, kind of, things just keep popping up and we attack what pops up and we miss something else. So again, using the SWOT as just information that then helps you build your strategic plan for your business is the way to go. Don't use the SWOT as a planning tool. Not all the information that you gather is useful. You know, you might come up with a strength that really, it's great, but it doesn't really move your business forward. Or there's a death threat that you see that, you know, really probably isn't going to happen. So that's not that useful. So I just, you know, I would say keep it light when you do the SWOT. So what I would encourage all of you to do when you have a few minutes is set a timer for 20 minutes, determine what the topic of your SWOT is. Is it that you have a staffing decision to make? Is it, are you thinking about purchasing a large piece of equipment? Are you thinking about even taking out a loan to grow your business? Because we all need money to make money, and that is challenging for female founders, but it's critical. It's really, really hard to grow a business just on your own revenues. I know it depends on the nature of the business. Service businesses are a little bit easier to use your own revenue to grow. But if you have any kind of product or anything that could be scalable, you absolutely are going to have some level of capital. And that could be a loan, it could be a grant. I'm always all ears when I hear grants, and I know that you all help provide those. It could be an investor, it could be an individual angel, it could be a micro loan. There's so many ways that you can infuse capital into your business. And that way you can, make a profit, first of all. I think one of the biggest weaknesses that we as women have when we are building and growing a business is that we pay ourselves last. And the reality is that's a hobby and you can't sustain that for very long. And if you are going to scale and sell your business, you have to have shown the cost and the investment in your position, because if someone buys your business, they're going to have to pay the CEO. And if that's not part of your financials, that is a weakness. So as you're thinking through what your SWOT topic might be, just set a timer for 20 minutes and then fill out the form that we're going to send to you. And in the handout that you'll get, there's some prompts in each of the areas of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, just to kind of get you thinking. But I would really encourage you to do this. And even just, if you want to play with it and practice, if it's just, something not business related, maybe it's a big purchase you're going to make. Maybe you're thinking about buying a home. Maybe you're thinking about buying a new car, any topic, just to get comfortable with this idea of being quickly able to flip through the elements of a SWOT and use it for decision-making purposes. So that's kind of what I have to say in general about the SWOT analysis, but I'd love to take some questions and have some discussion. And also it's so sweet of you to spend some time with me this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I love how you put that in right there at the end, Nancy. That was very swift, very good.
Branding's my thing.
And congratulations on the new business, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been very, very fun.
So real quick, I know Kimberly already put it in the chat, but I also just want to say again, Nancy did send the SWOT analysis worksheet to me. I will ensure that everybody gets a copy of that. Regretfully, it was not high priority this morning, as we were trying to make sure we had some other things taken care of, but rest assured you will get it. So let's go ahead and do questions. We'll do one in here, and then we'll do one online. So does anybody in here have a question? No questions. So I do, Nancy. So when would you say, I know a lot of women are, we maybe have some, they're in ideation or they're just starting up. So when is a good time to do a SWOT analysis?
That's a great question. So there's really never a bad time to do a SWOT analysis. You may, if you are in the very early ideation stage, you may want to do a SWOT on, is this even the time in your life to start a business? When I see women come through our program, sometimes they can have the best ideas, but they're pregnant and they've got, 3 other kids at home and their husband's traveling and so right this minute may not be the time, and a quick SWOT analysis of that is great. You may want to do a SWOT analysis based on, let's say your idea is a new bookstore, and you can do a quick SWOT that tells you, okay, well, that's a pretty saturated market. People aren't coming to bookstores anymore, et cetera. But that doesn't mean don't do it, but it may be your bookstore needs to have a really unique value proposition. Maybe your bookstore has built-in book clubs that are, that you can get up and going, and, just kind of gives you that idea early on. So I would say there's never a bad time to do a SWOT analysis. And anytime that there's a decision to be made is a good time to do a SWOT.
Yeah, so we were talking to Christina Mortel, who's on here from the Veterans Center. And one of the things we talked about was people actually wanting to be an entrepreneur, like whether or not they would, if that's something that they would be interested in, would they be able to handle some of the things? So I think in sharing what you did about a SWOT analysis, that would be a great way to figure out, am I ready to be an entrepreneur? Am I ready? What are my strengths? What are my opportunities? Those kinds of things. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's also taking that one step further. It's a great way to determine if your business is far enough along or has enough opportunity that you can quit your day job. Because many of us, but many of us start our entrepreneurial life as a side hustle. And we do that because we are trying to provide for a family, or, it's our livelihood, and we can't just walk out. Most of us are not independently wealthy. Most of us can't just walk out of a good paying job without knowing that we have something else. Even if you are in a good paying job and you want to make a change, doing a SWOT analysis is a good thing. It doesn't always have to be associated to an entrepreneurial venture.
Right. Kimberly, do you have any questions?
Yes. What is the best way to handle a negative Google review? And is there a way to remove a negative comment if you feel it was unwarranted?
Mm-hmm. We actually had an issue with that. Funny you should bring that up. Ours was on Yelp, and it was interesting. Fortunately, nobody that I know uses Yelp that much anymore, but there was a woman who, we don't even know if she actually came on our store or not. She says she did. And she just slammed our store, slammed our staff. And we have literally the sweetest staff, and they're so kind and they're so engaging. And so we knew right away that this woman was, a problem. But turns out she had done 14 other reviews of 14 other companies, basically all the same on the same day. And these people sometimes do this because they think they're going to get something free, or I don't know, there's nothing better to do in life. So I don't know as much about the Google reviews. I'm actually learning, because I think there's a bigger opportunity in the Google reviews for sure at this point than something like Yelp. I do think that there are ways that through the back end that you can contact Google and make it clear that this was, false, or, but the best way always is to get as many people as possible to very quickly put in real positive reviews. And we try to do a lot of incentives with our customers to get them to place reviews. It's a little tricky. We're learning, but it's a little tricky because a lot of people who stop in the store buy just a few cookies and they enjoy them quickly, and then they sort of forget that. They forget how much they love them by the time they get home and they haven't done a review. So we do some incentives and things like that. So I think incentivizing your customers, Do contact Google though, if there's truly a wrong, libelous, not accurate review, I would definitely contact Google.
Great. Any questions, Cindy?
Yes, what if for anyone here that has a team, I've done several SWOTs, but I've always filled them out personally, like on either behalf of the business or my team or myself. So is it beneficial? Do you have any tips or tricks? Should everyone, all of like the management team, fill one out personally and then we meet together? Do you have any tips on kind of gathering feedback from larger companies?
Sure. No, I think that's a great question. I'm all about team engagement, and I try to have offsite retreats with my leadership team. And I'm talking about leadership teams, a team at a bakery, which is unusual, but we go offsite and we do a lot of, I like the stop, start, continue exercise as well, which is when you think about all the things that you are doing as a company. And I'm big on sticky notes. So you put big sticky Post-its up and get everybody little sticky notes, and you list all the things that you're doing as a company. And then people get to go up and they get to put their sticky on, we are doing this, but I think we should stop. We are doing this, but I think we should definitely continue, or we should start this, which gives you a great view of what people are enjoying, what they think are valuable, what's moving your business forward. I love that exercise. But as far as doing a SWOT as a group, you can do it the same way. It's going to take a little bit more time. It is a little bit more of a deep dive. You're going to get a lot more opinions. And again, at the end of the day, you're the CEO, and at the end, it goes your way. But using all this information from your employees is super valuable. And also, I think buy-in and engagement with staff and employees is just so valuable and so critical. And the culture of a business to me is just so important. And I think doing a SWOT as a team, you'll just know that you're going to spend more time on each area. And you also know that you might hear some things from your staff that, they're painful. You might not, there might be something about you they don't like. There might be something about your management style. There might be something about some other level of management that's a problem. But wouldn't you rather know that instead of having people be talking about it, in the lunchroom and having it fester? I think, again, knowing those death threats and those weaknesses, I think a team SWOT can be a lot of fun and a lot of really valuable team engagement. So I think it's a great idea.
Nice. Nice question.
Thank you.
Kimberly, any more questions? You're muted.
We don't have any more in the chat at this time.
Okay. Any more in here? All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nancy. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate everybody's flexibility this morning as it feels like we made it through.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all still there.
Me too. So next, so this is our last event for 2023, and I just want to first say thank you to everybody for always coming and showing your support, always participating. I know that the staff here at the Center for Women Entrepreneurs is so grateful for all that you do as you participate in our programs. Our January WomenRISE is January 10th, and I'm so excited. Cindy Turk, who is CM Promotions, she's actually going to be kicking us off for our 2023 programming year, and she's going to talk about learning how to love networking and grow your business. So we understand a lot of times people know how important networking is, but maybe we're not all a fan. And so she's going to come in and share how to learn how to love it and to use it to grow your business in the process. So Tracy, do you want to say any final words?
Thank you, everyone, for attending. And for those of you in person, we skipped it, so that's good, just right. Thank you, everyone, for supporting us this year. We're so happy to have, as Donna Lisa said, all of you come each month, month after month, where we hope to continue bringing this great speakers and programs into 2023. And Nancy, that was wonderful, such great information. I mean, sometimes people think SWOT's just the small part, but it's so important. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Great to get to know your group.
So with that being said, I don't think, so Kimberly, I think you have to hand it back over to me and I'll stop recording and stop us live on Facebook. I think I can do it.
All right, I just handed it off.
Okay.